Hey everyone, welcome to the Outdoor Life series. So we have been working on this series for, gosh, almost a year now, right? Like about a year. And I am so excited to be able to launch this and bring to you guys all of the stuff that you love about the outdoors. MJ loves about the outdoors. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Kate, and I am the face and the voice behind Scout Chef Kitchen. If you've ever seen that, I work on our social media team. So whenever you give us like shout outs on social media and such, sometimes I see it, sometimes my counterpart Chris sees it. And today I'm really excited. I actually have like total gear expert Brad with us. Brad, will you tell them what you do? Tell everybody what you do. You have the coolest job.
Well, thank you. I can't agree more. Like Kate said, my name is Brad. I am the product manager here for our camping line and camping department here at the Scouts PSA.
Which is the coolest job. Like, you get to check out all the stuff that we have and figure out like where it's going to go in Scout shops and what we're actually going to have and figure out what we need the most. And one of the cool things that Brad has done over the past year-ish, maybe two at this point, is started developing, like, we have a new lineup of products that we're actually going to show to y'all a little bit later, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But we're really excited about that product line, and we're just really excited to bring you the Outdoor Life series. So like I said, we are going to do this in tandem with our adventure series, which is all about getting outside and camping your way and really doing, like, perhaps maybe you've only been car camping before. We are here to kind of dive into the world of like through camping and backpack camping, which is a little different than car camping, right? Like, you have to get a little bit more specific with what kind of gear you need. It's not like you can just pack it up in your car. Like, my car is usually overly full when I go camping.
Yeah, like most people.
Yeah.
You got to be a little more careful what you choose to take out because you're not close to usually a store or something like that. So you got to be very careful making your checklist.
Yes. And so I have because I'm not an expert, I have my cheat sheet, total disclosure cheat sheet here. And today we're going to talk about backpack hiking and what the difference is between like day hiking and backpack camping and throughway hiking. So Brad, will you tell us, like, when people say day hiking, what do we mean by that?
Well, in simplest terms, a hike that you could do within a 24-hour period. A lot of times it's, even less than that. It's a few hours. It's your state park. It's a leisurely hike just to get outdoors.
Yep.
Nothing too extreme, but it entails certain, products that you still would need for, one is a fun day, a safe day.
Yep.
And then that's where the certain backpacks come into play.
Totally. And I can't wait to show you guys. We actually have a few samples of backpacks. I wish that MJ, like, again, if you've watched Scout Chef Kitchen, you know MJ, the assistant extraordinaire. If she makes her way over here in a second, it's going to be great because when we start talking about backpack camping and through hiking, she is going to be the best exhibit A with with the backpack that goes with that, right? So tell us a little bit about backpack camping and through hiking. Like, what does that look like? What does that entail?
That entails basically usually either overnight or multi-day hikes, where you're out in nature, away from civilization, so you're not near bathhouses.
Yep.
Luxury items aren't easily accessible stores. So everything that you need to do to accomplish that trip, you need to carry on you.
Totally.
So that obviously we'll get to a little more detail, but that'll be needed. Specific backpacks to obtain and carry that weight for you.
Yep, 100%. So, okay, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about backpacks. And y'all, we are going to link to this blog for you. I just wrote a blog, and Brad had a heavy hand in helping me write this, which I was really excited about. So we talk about the types of backpacks and actually how to get fitted for a backpack. So that way, like, you go through and you figure out just what you're going to do. So if you know that you probably aren't quite at the level of, like, maybe going on a full 3-day weekend trip with all of your stuff that you need in your backpack, maybe you're not there yet. That's totally fine. But we break down what it looks like to have the perfect backpack for you for day hiking. And then we also break down and move into all of the heavier duty type backpacks that you would need to pack all of your gear for, I don't know, anything from like a 2-day or 2-night trip to a week-long trip in a backpack. And we'll link to that blog. You have that blog. So make sure you pay attention to this adventure series. We will make sure that we break all of that down. And it also goes into play, like we talk about in the blog, a little bit about price points too. Like, right, like there are different price points to these backpacks where you can go anything from like a string bag, which would probably be like MJ's MO, who is 5 at the end of this month. She's more of like a string bag kind of girl. And then like somebody like me who needs to, if you didn't know, I got one on board, but I need to be drinking a lot of water. The Camelback with its 3 liters, probably really good for me for a couple hours. God, help me please. So that, y'all, is like something that we'll break down that blog in depth. But let's talk about a little bit about these backpacks. So let's start with day hiking. What backpacks do you love? And let's talk about the types of backpacks and their features that we get into.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a few day packs here. One being the Osprey Daylight, and then we have the Camelback over near you that's, you know, hydration compatible, and it actually comes with the bladder itself to hold either 2 liters, some carry up to 3 liters worth of water.
Bladder.
Usually day packs are smaller in size for obvious reasons. They could go anywhere from sub 10 liters, you know, on up to 20, even 30 sometimes, depending on how long your trip is and how much you're carrying, if you're carrying for multiple people, like your children or so forth. Basically, your day pack just needs to be big enough to carry your bare essentials.
Okay.
The bare essentials, we've gone over this in other blogs, could be dependent on weather, like rain gear.
Yep.
Obviously, you want your first aid kit in here, no matter when you're going out or how long your trip is.
Yep.
I always want to carry, say, a headlamp in case your day goes a little long or you get stranded out there. Again, it's more survivalist or safety issue.
Yep.
But basically, a day pack that would, you know, hold your needs for that day trip for you and your family and scouts.
For me, it would be snacks right now. Like extra snacks are necessary. They would fit
for sure.
there.
For sure. You know, you always want to carry snacks. Sometimes we'll talk about cooking a little bit here. A lot of times I'll even carry my Jetboil stove.
Yeah.
And maybe be a little more elaborate when you're cooking your lunch. Just and have lunch outdoors.
Yeah.
Something a little different.
I mean,
Again,
it's so small, it totally fits, and it's super lightweight, so it totally fit in a day pack easily.
For sure, it would definitely fit in this pack or that pack. It's not too heavy because a lot of these day packs or day hiking packs don't have the same padding as your larger packs.
Yep.
One is because of that they're cheaper in price.
Yep.
But they're not made to carry that much, weight and materials and stuff like that, and you're not usually wearing them as long duration.
Yep, 100%. Is that the one? So, y'all, this is in the blog too. I write about this, but one of the Osprey day packs actually is compatible with connecting to the Osprey overnight backpacks, which is really neat. Is that the one that connects in, or is there a different one? There's probably a different one.
There is a different one. It's actually the same size as this, but it's more like material of, say, a string bag, so it's very collapsible.
Yep.
But you can use it in tandem with this. I do have the brain taken off of this Atmos. We'll talk about it a little later.
Yep.
But the brain actually can be removed and wear it as like a fanny pack too. That's
the cool thing about this, like y'all, like, and again, this is all on the blog, and we go through in depth each one of these types of backpacks, so you can really figure out what you need. But there's so much to it. Like, if you know that for the most part right now, maybe you stick with a little bit more car camping type deal, then that is going to be an awesome day pack for you, right? Because like with that day pack, you throw it in your car and then you just pack your belongings in it. If you know you're going to be like through hiking and overnight camping all the time, you'd go with one of these bigger packs that has one of the removable pieces to it, right? Like that would just be fun and easy because then you already have it connected and going.
Correct. I'll just briefly move over.
Let's do that. This one's my favorite. I wish that MJ would make her way over. She's currently running amok in the, I'm not going to say in the woods because that sounds contrary to what she's doing, but she's running amok right now.
I would definitely have to agree. This is the Osprey Atmos.
Yeah.
I personally own quite a few different packs across a couple different brands.
Nobody is surprised by this.
And I would have to say this is the most comfortable pack I've ever wore.
Okay.
And it's not because I've chosen it and we sell it. I would tell that and I would to anybody, and I would recommend this pack to anybody. Like I said, I removed the brain on this earlier just to relieve some weight because it is removable. You can save some weight there. But you can remove this and use it as a fanny pack, and a lot of people call that a summit bag.
Okay.
A lot of our scouts at Philmont know that you might have a long hike and you can stash something at the bottom of a summit and summit the peak and come back down and grab your pack. So a lot of those extra bags they'll call as a summit bag.
That's cool.
But
see, y'all, this is like the stuff that I didn't know. Without our expert here, I would never know that. Here we go.
The main difference between this pack and that pack obviously is the size, because it's made to carry a larger, weight load for longer durations. So this one actually have a frame in it.
Okay.
It's more permanent frame to hold that weight.
Yeah,
With this
when
one,
I was picking it up, it's like it stays its shape.
Yeah.
It's like it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Correct. So that helps alleviate the weight, so your body and your bone structure is not carrying that weight. Where this one, just has the foam pad.
Yep.
Where you'd be carrying the full weight and workload.
Totally. So in that one, so let's move back a little bit. And again, this is all in the blog that we're going to link to as well. But this pack is the men's version. And then we also have the women's version, which is what, the Viva, or is that the other one?
The Aurora.
The Aurora.
The Aurora.
Yes. Okay, so MJ, stand up really tall right here. Hold still. No, not on that. Don't stay on the other backpack. But check this out. The backpack is basically as tall as you are, right?
Well, it's bigger.
Oh, she said she's a little taller, but semantics. Okay, thank you. If you want, you can scamper along with your unicorn and do the things you're going to do. But Brad, tell us a little bit more about that frame on that backpack and like how it distributes the weight so that it doesn't feel quite so heavy.
Yeah, like I said, the difference between this bag and the daylight bag or day pack bags is mainly the frame. This one has two rigid poles that run down the side, and if you can feel it, it kind of holds its structure. It'll stand up on its own, especially with product in it.
Yep.
But that basically takes the weight off your shoulders and your bone structure and transforms it or transports it to the frame itself, unlike a day pack, so it can hold that weight.
Totally, because you really want, and again, we go into detail on the blog about this, but you really want all that weight, the majority, I mean, like what, like 80-20 roll or something like that, but you want like most of it sitting on your hips.
Correct.
And that's what the hip belt's for. So like, again, in that blog, we have how to measure, because obviously right now, times are tough, times are different. So maybe you can't get to a scout shop or don't feel comfortable getting into a scout shop, totally get that. We have all in that blog how to measure yourself, your torso for the perfect fit for a backpack, and then, of course, go into all the different details of what the types of backpacks and stuff. Does that one include the reservoir, the water reservoir in it too, like a spot for it?
It does. This is hydration compatible, so there is a sleeve inside of it that will hold a hydration bladder.
Sweet.
It does not come with one though, unlike the Camelback.
Perfect, but I think we sell those.
We do. We sell.
Convenient.
We sell a 2-liter Osprey version.
Sweet. So that's perfect. So again, or if you already have one, also awesome. You can totally slide it into the back pocket that is specifically made for that. Let's see. I think we've covered backpacks enough, because now everybody's totally going to go read in the blog about all the different kinds of backpacks. What else? Like anything else? Any tips or tricks? Hang on one second. Any tips or tricks about throughway hiking and day hiking and the types of backpacks you would want or need for that leftover that everybody must know?
It's really, like you said, I would reference that blog that you did, and I think it goes through it pretty well. Just know that if you're doing multiple day hikes, like our scouts do, say at the Phil Mile, use that as an example, or the AT, longer distance multi-day hikes, you really want to get a pack that's comfortable. You don't want to be a miserable experience, because you're not going to want to go out. A pack like this, the waistband and the shoulder straps, well, they're padded up to over 1 inch. So it's a very comfortable bag.
Yeah, they are pretty thick. I see that. Yep.
Yeah, unlike the day pack. Now, what I'll say about the day pack, like this one, and for instance, my kids sometimes will use this for school, or if we do an overnight, a sleepover at a friend's house or something, that where a day pack is, it's more universal. You can do it for other activities. Unlike this one is pretty much geared for the outdoors.
Yeah, I'm not taking that one. If I was in school, I would not be taking that one to school.
No.
I love that. So that's pretty awesome too. And that tells you also about size. Like my computer would definitely fit into this day pack. Obviously my computer would definitely fit into that. But so considering again, in the blog goes into this, considering again, how long, and what I break it into for the blog is features, fit, and function. And I start with function, like how long you're going to go out. And then I move into features, and your features are like how much you need to have like all your bells and whistles. So like obviously a day pack can be anything from like the string bag to this osprey bag, and there's a bunch of different levels, or the camel bag that has a reservoir already included in it with room for other stuff. So like obviously different level and range of features. And then I move into function, features, fit, function, features, fit. That's the third one. Pregnancy brain got me. But the next one would be like once you have this, and once you've got it, like what is the like dialing into the fit? Like how do you measure for it, and making sure that you pick the exact right one for you, and that includes price point. Because again, Brad, he's the one that did it. You should thank him. We've got different price points for backpacks in our scout shops and online. So that way you can grab and figure out, like if you are literally only going to go hiking, I don't know, thruway hiking once a year, maybe twice or 3 times a year, maybe you don't need like the top of the line, all the bells and whistles type thing. You can make do with something a little less than that. And we've got those too, and that's all on the blog. I think that's it, right? Like that covers like this quick and easy of the backpacks and thruway hiking and such.
It does, and when your blog obviously states it, informs the customer on it.
Yes.
And if you shop any one of these bags online at our scoutshop.org, it'll tell you how to measure yourself to determine if that bag's right for you. It'll determine your torso length, as well as your waist size.
So like torso length, and again, this is a graphic that's if I could say that it's in the blog again, like hello, like all the information you need. But basically from like right between your shoulder blades, like where your neck ends, kind of a little higher than your shoulder blades. This is like not where my shoulder blades are, because that would be very weird anatomy wise. But like up where your neck ends, all the way down to like the top of your hip bones, and right there torso length and side to side hip length or hip width as well. So that way you can figure this out. Sweet. Y'all check that out. Make sure you check out that blog and figure out what the best backpack for you is, and then let us know, like any of our social channels, right? Like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Find us and tag us. Show us how your backpacks fit, and tell us what you love about them, which ones you have. Like we love having that conversation, because here's the thing. What I love is like this is all stuff that Brad has. And so like what's really neat about this is like once he has it, it's so easy for him to go and grab it and say like, this is what I love, this is what I don't love. It helps other people out. So like you're actually helping your scouting community by telling them all the things you love, and what maybe like made you pick this backpack over that backpack, that kind of stuff. Share it with us, and we would love to hear it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we're so glad to bring you the Outdoor Life series. Brad and I will be back in a little bit, because we're going to talk about more things, all of the things outdoor life and outdoor adventure.